talk about class, how do you define a classy wear? A ruched dress is one of those beautiful classy wears you can rock anywhere, anytime, any moment. Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful two-sided ruched dress. Ensure to stay to the end so you can follow the step-by-step process in making this beautiful gown. So let's dive into this tutorial because this is what you're here for. We'll be cutting the down part first, so I'm dropping the waistline, which is 18, to mark out the full length, and this is the full length, which is 44. And on the waist is 28 divided by 4 plus 2-inch allowance, which gave us 9. Then we'll drop the hip, which is from the waist to the hip 8.5. So on the hip line, we are marking out the hip measurement, which gave us 11 for everything. Then we are curving it, and towards the down, I minus 1 inch from the hip, which is 10 inches. So I curved it downwards like this. You can make your same measurements with your hip. It all depends on your choice. For the zip side, to get my zip allowance and to avoid zip bulk, I dropped 1 inch from the waistline downwards, and I'm marking out 1/2 inch outwards, the same thing I did for the upper part, and I'm marking 1 inch all the way down. I'll connect it like this to the 1 inch and all the way down. Then I'll use my rule to make it in a straight line for the down part. So I'll cut it out. So for the front cutting, the shoulder to waistline we are working with is 18 inches. I added 1 inch extra, which is 19 inches for the full length. And this is me marking my shoulder width before the camera cut me out. I used a different material to make up the place the camera cut me out. And this is me marking my shoulder width. Then I dropped 1 inch on that shoulder part. Then I'm taking my armhole depth, which is 7.5 inches. And I'm trying to make it in a straight line. So I'll do the same thing for the other side, making it in a straight line to get this block pattern. On the armhole depth I marked out, I'll be marking out my bust width, which is 38 divided by 4, and my waist width, which is 28 divided by 4 plus 2 inch allowance on both sides. So on the armhole, I'll come up by 3 inches and go in by 1/2 inch and connect it just to give the armhole a bit of a shape. So for the neckline, I will take 3 inches width and 2.5 inch width because we are cutting a turtleneck. So I will slant the shoulder this way. For the back, I'm dropping 1 inch and connecting it back to the neckline. So this is it here. So for the waist area, I'll come up by 1 inch and go in by 1/2 inch. For the back slope, the back slanting to avoid zip bulk, so I'm marking out 1 inch on the other side. Then I'll connect the 1 inch to the 1/2 inch. So this is it, cutting it out. I will cut out the back neckline first, then raise the front and cut it out separately from the back and continue the cutting. So for the down part, I will come in by 2 inch and connect it to the waistline that I marked out. So this is it. That helps me remove zip bulk, and this is me cutting the main fabric. So this is everything I did for the other material, the same thing I did for the main fabric. So at this point, I would like you to boop the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. This helps the YouTube algorithm to send this video to more people that need it. So at this point, I'm marking 1/2 inch to connect it for the front curve you saw. And this is the sleeve right here, and the sleeve measures 28 inches in length. Yeah, 28 inches in length. And I'm coming in by 4 inches. I will mark down 4 inch down and connect it like so. Remember, we're going to pleat the sleeve, so it has to be a bit big. So I'm marking out where I need to put my elastic, and I took out my desired measurement. You can take out, just divide it into 2 places or 3 places as well. So this is it, cutting it. And I will notch those places I marked out for the elastic so it will correspond when it's time to sew. I'll measure out what I have for this front depth, and whatever it gives me I'll mark it in a separate fabric. I think it measured 2 inches by 12 inches, so I'll be sewing it like this all around the open neck. Then I will fold it in again, just like hemming a cloth. So the way you hem your cloth is the same way you're going to do this one. Hem it closely, like very neatly, and I will hem it up to this point. I've gone ahead to iron it and pressed it down. So this is the front side. I will join the waist line together, the down waist and the upper waist for the back and the front. So this is the shoulder. I'll join the both shoulders together for the front and the back. Back to the sleeve, I marked out a long line where we'll be passing our elastic, just like that, so it could be equal on both sides. So this is the elastic I'll be using for it. The round sleeve I'm working with is 12 inches, and I measure out the elastic of 10 inches, and I'll be putting it or inserting it in this way. While doing it, you have to be ruffling it a little bit and dragging the elastic at the same time, but don't drag it too much. So this is how you do it, and do the same thing for the other side. I'll go ahead to do the same thing for both sleeves, and this is it, looking fine and beautiful. So if you're free or if you have your interlocking machine, you can interlock your shoulders before inserting your sleeves. So but I just had to do mine this way. So I'll be joining the sleeve to the main piece, that's the main dress, and I'll start from the notched part of it to match up with the shoulder parts. And while stitching it, I will be pleating it like single pleats. I'll be pleating it like this, just the way I'm doing it, up to the other end. I'll do the same thing for the other side. You know, I started from the center shoulder, the center part of the shoulder, so I'll do the same thing for the other side. The same pleating I'll do up to the shoulder where we started from. So this is the outcome after joining the sleeves. So it's time for us now to stitch our dress, join the dress together. So I'll be stitching this using 0.75 inch allowance for the sleeve, and I'll stitch it up to the armhole. And when I got to the armhole area, I had to measure out 1 inch allowance, because while cutting it we added 2 inch allowance, but I took out just 1 inch allowance because it's not a fitted dress and I don't want it fitted. So I got to the hem part and I had to loosen it up and hem it before I stitch it down. Like, I had to hem it first before stitching the both sides together. I did that for both the front and the back. So I joined the other side as well, and this is me completing the hem. I'll open up the side allowance and top stitch on it using a running stitch. So I will top stitch from the down part up to the waist, yeah, which is where we'll pass our rope for the ruched dress. So I'll do that for this side and the other side of this dress. So when I get to the top, I will back stitch it and turn it over and do the same thing for the other side of the side seam. So this is where we are going to pass our rope and drag it upwards. I'm doing the same thing now for this other side, and this is the rope I'm making here for the ruche. So I'm making this long rope for it, and I need 2 of it to pass it. So when I'm done doing the top stitching, and I'm using my safety pin now to pass the rope, not from the down, I passed it from the waist side to the down. So I'll do this for this side. Then when I'm done, I will gently drag the rope down, and be careful so your rope won't enter so deep inside. And I'll top stitch the rope together with a piece. So I'll top stitch the rope and hold it firmly over there. I'll do the same thing for the other side of this. So it's time for us to fix our zip. So I'm making the zipper allowance, trying to get the 1 inch we added for the zipper allowance and stitching it up till the down part of it. I don't know how you fix your zip, but this is where I fix my zip, so you can go with your own pattern of fixing your zip. So for the turtleneck, I'm measuring what I have for the neck area, and I have 8.5 there. So I'll go ahead and measure the same thing for the other side to make sure that both are equal. So after measuring that, I will go and cut out a material of what I measured and ironing with my interfacing, and this is me stitching it up. And when I got to the center front, I marked out 2 inches, which is what we cut out from the center front, and I'll mark out 2 inches and space out the 2 inches to join to the other side of it. Like this 2 inches wasn't stitched to anywhere, it was just on its own separately to join to the other side. On one end of the neck piece, I double folded it, sort of inward and outward folding. So this is how it's looking, and it measures 1.5 inches, and I had to stitch it up like this. I hope you understand this part. So I'm turning it inwards, and I did the same thing for the other end, and I will top stitch it like so. Just fold it inwards and make sure everything is placed inside, then go ahead to top stitch it just to give it a neat finishing. So this is me top stitching it, and I'll top stitch it to the other end. After then, I'll go ahead to iron it and press it down. It's laying flat for me. After that, I'll go ahead to fix my zip, hem the sleeves, the down part of the sleeves, and our dress is ready. You can also go ahead to interlock the inside, the inseam of this dress. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I upload more videos on this channel. So guys, see you in my next video. Bye.